Checking out Forestry 2017, the mundane games. Now, when I say mundane, I don't mean it in the context of boring. I mean it in the context of going to see any Space Marines here. You're not going to see include Space Marines as sci-fi because that's another story. But you are going to see some mundane published originally in, I would say, 2016. Yep, 2016 by UIG Entertainment. This is the complete foresting game. I've spent a couple of hours with this now, and wanted to sort of show you guys what I've managed to get up to. Now, when this game drops you in, you have almost nothing to go on. You've got access to this wood yard where you can drop off logs for sale, and you have a horse, and that's it. It really doesn't give you any tutorials or any information about how to get going. So it's pretty challenging, and I've come to the conclusion that these kind of simulation games often the challenge seems to be in learning the systems rather than in the gameplay itself, which is curious to me as I come from more of a narrative kind of basis of looking at video gaming. I guess sort of ludological. There will be a little bit of academic content on this channel. Anyway, without further ado, let me introduce you to my horse. I've called him Bob, although my partner pointed out that he should be called Trotsky, but we'll talk about socialism later. Okay, so this is our horse, Bob. He's very easy to rotate around on the spot, which is nice. So we're going to use him to go and get some logs. Now, at the start of this game, it's pretty slow and tedious, which is the nature of these kinds of simulators. Bob moves at a maximum speed of 16 kilometers an hour. You sort of wander alongside him. And you can probably only do you can go and cut down and bring back maybe 3 trees in a workday. Workday goes from 10 AM to 10 PM, but it gets very hard to do anything after about 6 o'clock because it gets quite dark. There we go, past the hotels is where we stay, and object of much terrible screen tearing. Actually jumped in about halfway through this day. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so we're not going to get a whole lot done, but we're going to just move along. I'm going to check out a tree and hopefully we'll find one that's not too big for us to haul back. Now you can cut down any tree fairly easily. Your chainsaw will do the job. But getting him back is another thing entirely. Alright, so let's give this one a go. So where are we? Let's look at the map. Right, as they say in the Darjeeling Limited, we haven't located us yet. Alright, so we don't know what kind of trees we're cutting down. I should probably recognise them by now, but it's another thing entirely. Get the chainsaw out. There are 2 kinds of chainsaw. As far as I can tell, the only difference is one is slightly bigger and oscillates at a slightly lower frequency than the other one. But, you know, alright, here we go. Now we wait, and try to stay out of the way of the tree. Not that it really matters. I did have a tree accidentally fall on Bob early on in the game. Sorry, Bob. He was alright. He didn't seem to be too perturbed by this because he has no facial animation, which would be a rough lot in life. Alright, so there's our tree. The camera now becomes entirely unusable. It's very hard to move around. It often resists doing it all. And all I've got is a face full of tree. Because the view just swings around wildly. But, you know, we get to hang out with Bob and take this one back to the log yard. You'll see at the top there we've got a message. For a long time I was receiving these messages with no idea what they were or how to access them because once again the game doesn't give you that information. Eventually worked out that you could access this at the office where you can also hire and fire staff and assign them jobs, but the game doesn't make any of this explicit. It just sort of drops you into the sandbox and hopes for the best. Which seems to be the nature of these kinds of games. Once again, learning the system is the challenge. I know I'm going to watch out for that road sign because it's very easy to get stuck on them. Oh, here we go. Alright. Now I'm assuming we still have our tree. Yep, still got the tree. Oh, that's... Whoa! Oh dear. Okay, something occurred there. Okay, so glitches are common. This happened last time I tried to bring a tree back as well. My horse just kind of tripped over something. And look, there he is, hanging out. Not doing his job, having just left a tree somewhere in the great disappearing tree case of Forestry 2017, the simulation. Doesn't seem to be very accurate, UIG Entertainment. Oh well, never mind. Let's go check out and see what our contract is. So, here's the letterbox with the flashing exclamation mark, just like in real life. Okay, so this one's an assignment for 18 tons of spruce. I'm pretty sure I've got that in the warehouse, but let's find out. Yep, okay, so that one's done. So we haven't got a lot else to do at the moment. Alright, let's take Bob back out and see if we can actually get a goddamn tree this time. There is a jump button, because all games should have a jump button. Not that it tells you. Now, that tree that's already cut down, we can't move. I cut that one ages ago, but it's too heavy. Also near my abandoned semi-trailer, which it turns out you can't use for anything, as far as I can tell, but we'll get to that once I show you guys the tractor. And you wouldn't believe how exceptionally excited I was to have earned a tractor. Alright, so while we're heading off into the distance, I should tell you guys a bit about why I got interested in these kinds of games. So I've been a video gamer for most of my life, but in the last couple of years I've become more interested in board games, tabletop stuff, lots of cardboard. There's a lot of reasons for that, some a bit of burnout on a lot of video gaming I think, but I found increasingly that I was becoming interested in... Oh, turn the light on there, just so we can sort of see what we're doing. It's going to get very hard to see much soon, so this will be a short logging trip. Anyway, so playing board games, you know, I started with all the usual stuff. Played, you know, Pandemic and Eldritch Horror and lots of heavily thematic stuff. And then I started being drawn more to kind of Euro-style games and games with, how do I put it? I guess, once again, the term mundane, not using it in the pejorative sense, using it in the sense of games that had a real-world setting. I got really interested in games that were about, you know, farming and practical things and... Ah, this log is too heavy. That's annoying. Alright, let's go find another log to cut. Those trees look big. Let's get a smaller one. Excuse me. Alright, here we go. Let's try this one. And I will save the ludology lecture until it's cut the tree down. Insert obligatory timber here. Sorry. Alright, let's get my horse again. So anyway, started playing more sort of these mundane board games and getting really excited about them because, you know, the whole point is that the more mundane the theme is, the more well the game mechanics have to operate in order to make it an entertaining game. So I actually got interested in Forestry 2017 after having played this board game called Lignum. There we go. Which is the Latin word for wood, and is literally about chopping wood, driving it down rivers, feeding your people in winter, keeping them warm and fed. So I got really interested in these, and it appeals to the part of my brain that likes efficiency, especially efficiency when you can see what the hell you're doing. Let's change the other setting, here we go. So therefore, I thought, you know, good time to start checking out things like Forestry 2017. And I've got a couple of others coming in the next week or so as well, which I'm hoping to share with you guys. Now, it's getting very hard to tell where the road is at this point. I'm not sure if we're actually going to make it back before the end of the day. You can see some windmills in the distance though. Windmills of your mind and all that, or ultimately tilting at windmills for the Don Quixote fans amongst you. There must be some. Alright, let's see if we can go up and hang a turn somewhere. Oh, there is the wreckage of my truck, which is absolutely useless. So we'll go do this, then we'll head back to the motel, get a good night's sleep, and then we should talk about socialism like all good days. Now obviously this is a couple of hours into the game. I've leveled up to about level 8. I'm trying to get up to level 10, because at level 10, you can unlock production. Because I've got to the point now where I've got a bunch of workers. I'm doing pretty well, but I want to start producing furniture and so forth, which seems to be the next challenge in the game. If we can get back on our horse without him tripping over. Alright, so we're heading for the wood yard. Exciting times, going to deliver this log. Not a euphemism. Now, oh, here we go. You're going to see it. Oh, are you serious? Bob, you've disappointed me. All right, we're gonna go full tractor next time. I'm done. Let's head back to the motel and start again in the morning, because that's the second glitched out horse that I've had in 2 goes, and this is just clearly not good enough. Look at that lovely screen tearing. Okay, here we go. I lost some money today, but, you know, neither here nor there. Next day. Next day. Weird loading screen while we wait for it. Okay, bright and early next day. I've upgraded some of my skills so that you start a little bit early. You see there's an upgrade menu here. Workaholic, Miser, Salesperson, Charisma, and Early Bird. They all have various stat buffs. Just like in real life, I really need to put some more points into my Charisma, so let's do that, which is going to reduce the rent cost of my buildings, because I've got quite a bit of overhead now. Alright, so let's find the tractor. So we'll head over to the garage. You unlock the garage at about level 6, I think it is. And I really need to spend some time just getting some more logs because I need to upgrade my level so we can get this furniture business. We'll reset this guy, climb into the tractor. I'm not going to attach the trailer because I've discovered the trailer is largely completely useless. So we're just going to head out into the distance. And we're going to go to one of the auxiliary wood yards. So there's a couple of wood yards out in the distance here where you can just sell stuff. So when you drop it off at the main wood yard there, everything goes into your stock to be put towards contracts or selling later, whereas if you just go into one of the auxiliary wood yards, you'll just sell it straight away, which I discovered because basically I did something wrong, which is essentially how you learn things in this game. You learn by making mistakes. Alright, so here's our wood yard. We're going to try for the third time to successfully actually cut down a tree and deliver it because Bob has been having problems. Should we name the tractor? We should probably name the tractor. Oh, look at that face. Alright, his name is Fred. Fred and Bob. We don't want to go for too big a tree, so let's try this one here. Let's go the other direction on the chainsaw, just because variety is the spice of life. Alright. Let's do this. Although I might point out that this may not be any more successful than doing it with my horse, because I did once manage to get the get my tractor tipped upside down in the wrong direction by a tree, which was in apparent ignorance of, you know, physics. The noise is the best bit. Okay, so we're gonna... There we go. Look, attach that. Alright, off we go. There's something very soothing about this. Same reason I like agricultural board games, even though I have zero interest in the outdoors. So you'll see, okay, if I can, rest of the camera. The log has gone green, which means that we can sell it. Ka-ching. Got some credits. And we're good to go. Alright, so, not liking that frame rate. Alright, so I don't really want to hang around here at the moment, so we'll leave the tractor park there. And let's go check out the office. Pop in, there we go. Alright, so after a little while you unlock the warehouse over here. Jump. Which allows you to look at everything you've got in stock. Now, I've got some workers out there cutting down trees, reforesting as well, so which I'll show you in a sec. So I've got quite a bit of stuff in stock, so I'm sort of waiting to see if a contract's going to come in that I can sell to make more money, because you always make more money off of contracts. So let's head over to the office. Now, you guys saw the contract before, but let me show you how you manage. It tells you that you can manage staff and also enjoy cool drinks. But when you try to enjoy cool drinks, it just brings up the worker screen. So presumably it's some commentary about capitalism, but not one that I can necessarily understand. Okay, so let's check out... I'm just going to cover the computer because I'm that kind of simulation guy. So here you can hire and fire staff, although if you fire them you have to give them a severance package, but I'm doing okay at the moment, so we're going to hire a couple more. And then you can set them to reforestation or felling. So put one more on felling and then maybe another one onto reforestation, because, you know, we need to make sure that we've got trees to fell. And, you know, this is an interesting point with this game, is that, you know, there are sort of various political and environmental aspects associated with forestry that, you know, we could be talking about here that we're not. The obvious environmental impact is sort of partially helped by the reforestation, but, you know, largely what you're doing in this game is reforesting so that you have more stuff to build, more you know, more resources to consume. So there could be an interesting kind of green undertaking on this as well. I would really like to see that. I would like to see you know, green farming simulator, see how you tackle environmental issues. And also, you know, in terms of, we're also watching the camera freak out here because it doesn't like you jumping into vehicles from a distance. So let's just leave that while it works it out and shows us some pretty cows and so forth. That was a nice windmill in the distance. That's nice. Different kind of windmill. Multiple windmills. Maybe we can get windmill DLC for Forestry 2018. I'm hoping. UOG. Make a note. But, you know, there are political aspects involved in farming as well. You know, these are ideas that are quite consistently linked to socialist thought about, you know, the means of production and so forth. So, you know, I would like to see some of those ideas explored because, you know, these are not big mainstream games. These are niche titles. So there's very much an argument to be made that they can take bigger risks, you know, they can try things. So, you know, if someone wants to make Socialist Forestry Worker 2018, I would play the hell out of that, you know, and we can look at different approaches. And I'm not saying that they need to be didactic in nature, but just at least look at different ideas for how things work. Okay, so let me show you the honking pile of mess that is the crane. Now, the crane is kind of like operating one of those things at a fun fair where you're trying to pick up the teddy bear that never works. Also, doesn't matter what size tree you try to apply it to, it's too heavy. I'm going to test this supposition. So we're going to go and find a nice small tree, and I'm going to show you. Oh, we should probably move that up a little bit before we do that. Oh god. Raise, sure. There we go. It's also nigh on impossible to operate properly. Let's go find a nice small tree and try and pick it up. And you'll see how utterly useless this thing is. Small tree, small tree. Alright. And then let's test the limits of the map, because that's always fun. So yeah, so, you know, Socialist Forestry Worker 2018, I'd be all over that. If you're taking notes, please do that. You know, there's room for interesting conversation about politics in these games, I think. Farming is so inherently a politicized kind of activity. Oh, alright, let's hit the brakes. Here's a nice small tree. Oh god, oh god, oh god, the brakes are terrible. Alright. Let's get out. Let's find the small tree we can. Now, these ones I found you can't actually cut down. Not for my lack of trying. We're going to start getting dark in a few hours, at which point this basically just turns into a horror movie. Alright, smaller tree. Alright, that one's alright. Alright, let's give this a go. So you would think a tree of this size, obviously you can move it with the tractor, so it should be fine to move with the crane, right? Alright, let's... oh god. Let's get alongside it. Switch to arm mode. Okay. Down. Too heavy. So now I've tried this with a variety... oh god. With a variety of trees. And I can't get to do anything. So I always end up just going back and taking the arm off, because the arm is actually entirely useless. So let's do that. We'll head back to the garage. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Bam. Okay, there we go. So we'll unequip the useless arm of rubbish. And then we're going to climb into the pickup. Now, the pickup... oh, here we go. Didn't like that. Now, the pickup's an interesting one. It's not massively expensive. Oh, dear. Oh, that's right. This happened. You guys were witnessing that. Okay, let's fix that. I tried to go over a hill and didn't end particularly well. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Oh, pretty mountains in the background there. Okay. We'll just reset the pickup. And then we'll run it again. Alright, here we go. Now, the pickup's an interesting one. You can't move any wood with it. So as far as I can tell, it's just for kind of tooling around places quickly. Which is kind of weird, because wherever you leave one of your vehicles, you can then choose to... well, you can then choose to just climb into it from the garage. So you don't need to do the massive travel. So I don't really get what its purpose is, aside from just racing around pretty quickly and getting stuck on stop signs like I did just there. This is maybe not the game for realistic physics outside of those related to trees. Look, there's those big sort of wind farms as well, which once again suggests, you know, that there's maybe an environmental underpinning to this, you know, as there should be. So we're just going to head off into the distance and see what the limits of the map are like step by step. Probably get some lens flares in the face in a minute, which, you know, I find... Oh, there's our tractor. Hey, tractor. Lens flares. It's such a weird thing. You know, I'm a screen academic. That's sort of my partially daily life, amongst other things. And I never understand why films and video games want to... Let's see if we can do it. Want to actually recreate this lens flare. I can't do it when you're in first person. So a lens flare, for those of you who aren't aware, is when a light source passes past the lens and it creates what we think of as a lens flare, which is actually an artifact. This is very strange to me. Why would you want to draw attention to artifice, you know? And I never understand why filmmakers like J.J. Abrams, much as I like him, has a million lens flares from light sources that can't actually physically exist on all of his films. And you're just drawing attention to the falseness of what it is that you're presenting. So, and especially in video games as well, where we're so obsessed with this notion of immersion, it seems like a very strange choice. Now, I think we're in the right spot. No, I've lost us again. Oh, this is probably as good a spot as any. Let's just hang off into the distance and see where we can go. Now, I found the limits of the map last time by coming across a fence. I reckon this time it's going to be mountains. And also, you will notice... Yeah, we might go a bit further. As soon as it hits nighttime, this whole thing just turns into a horror movie, probably directed by Wes Craven. It's got a very sort of backwoods, off-the-beaten track, guy with lone light wandering through the place. Actually, speaking of, this is a point worth making. There's no one else in this game. You know, apparently there are workers, but I've never come across it. The only other living soul that I've come across is the horse. Oh, here we are. Okay, now I know where we're going. So aside from the horse, there's no one around. I guess maybe that they just don't want to simulate any other living human beings, but maybe, you know... Oh, okay, we're going to hang up left at this woodyard. Maybe there is no one left. Maybe we're, you know, we're in a post-apocalyptic landscape that happens to be green and pretty, and our forestry worker has been driven mad by his own loneliness and insanity, and just thinks that there's workers out there. Maybe he's imagining paying people wages and selling wood for profit. Okay, here we go. Edge of the map. Long fence. Of course, a metaphor for life, because we are all trapped by the fence. Now let's see if we can get ourselves a decent run up. Go for it. No, can't break the fence. I've always been obsessed with the edge of maps since I was a kid. For those of you who played Motocross Madness, the old PC classic by Microsoft. Here we go. Where are we going? No, yeah, no, you can't escape. And this is how I flipped last time, because I tried to drive up the hill and bad shit happened. So, well, come on, you can do it, buddy. Oh, maybe not. Hang on. Nearly stuck on a rock. Motocross Madness. So, yeah, we're stuck. Motocross Madness was a big dirt bowl on the demo level, and it had a cliff face surrounding all the edges, which if you rode out really, 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 really fast, you would actually fly up onto and reset at the top of, and you could drive a short distance, and you would end up being blasted back onto the map and flying into the air for a million miles. And basically that's all I did for the entire game, because it was great fun. So I've always wanted to find the edge of every map for anything I play. Alright, so here is the end of our day. Had a bit of a rubbish day because I was mostly tooling around in my pickup, not doing any work. But we'll head back and see where we're at. Now I probably need to do some actual logging now to get my level up, so let's work on that. Now, I unlocked this home office as well, which does nothing. It just gives you the same stuff that you would get at the regular office near the forestry, but in a log cabin. And log cabins, for any of you who watch Twin Peaks, know anything about Timothy McVeigh, are generally a terrible idea. Alright, this one's 29 tons of oak. I'm pretty sure we can do that. Done. It's got us some money. So the next thing I'm saving up for is going to cost like 370,000 credits or something, which I can't afford, but, you know, we'll go check that out. So we'll fast travel back to the garage. Loading. There we go. So I want whatever, Hank, whatever this is, I want it. But, you know, I can't afford it. But I can go and buy some wood. Or sell some wood, rather. Because that's what the name of the game is. So I've got like 100 tons of spruce. Let's sell all of this. Won't be filling any contracts for a while, but we'll make ourselves some cash. Got an achievement last game for making over 100 grand. That was fun. And the real estate office, which looks very much like a bomb shelter. So maybe that's where we all cowered from the nuclear holocaust before I emerged. So the last thing I've got to unlock is this level 10 production. So I've got to get to level 10, level 8. So we probably want to head out, get the tractor, and do a little bit of logging. Okay, let's reset the tractor, climb in, and go get some logs. I'm not going to go too far afield, and hopefully I'm not going to get a huge problem this time. These trees are too big to cut down. I still haven't worked out how it is that you upgrade your ability to lift trees, which is unfortunate. I mean, you know, since I've been playing today, it's been pretty tricky anyway, because I can't seem to even successfully bring one back to the sale yard without having it flip out my horse. There's a normal sentence. All right, let's cut down a couple here, and then we'll do some dragging back. These are apparently a real brand of chainsaw, which is interesting. The notion of verisimilitude is unusual in these games, in that they strive for realism in terms of logging, but they don't ask you to do any of the minutiae of maintenance or anything like that. Like, I don't have to maintain Fred here, or feed Bob, or any of these things, or feed myself for that matter. Oh, I do get stuck on tree trunks, however. Oh, that noise is still the best thing. Go. Right, successfully picked that one up. Alright, onward! I reckon we'll probably be able to bring 2 or 3 of these logs back before we hit nightfall. Oh, here's the useless one again. Alright, first person. The first person's actually not too bad in the tractor, although, as you can see, well, that happens, and also the steering wheels actually move. So the only time you actually see yourself is when you're next to the horse. You don't, so maybe you're actually some sort of disembodied non-corporeal presence, which is kind of an exciting concept. Sort of, well, ghost meets farming. Ghost lignum, there you go, that's a good band name. Alright, so we've dropped that one off. Stock that in the warehouse. And also, obviously, I've got my guys out there cutting down trees and planting new ones. So let's head back out. Now we can see what we're doing again. See, I wonder if, let's see, can we see ourselves in there? I think you can just make out the outline of our person in there, but not when you're in first person. So, that's a weird one. Oh, also the camera is, once again, useless and unwieldy. Got a long way to go before we get that $370,000 for that piece of machinery that I don't even know what it does, and I'm hoping it's going to solve all my problems and let me lift larger trees. Or just lift any trees with a goddamn crane. Why did I buy a crane? Cannot do anything. Okay, let's grab this one. I got the pickup truck, which is impossible to drive and doesn't actually lift anything by itself. So presumably, the plan is that you use the crane to lift the logs into the pickup truck and deliver multiple logs at once, which would save you doing these big trips. Which is all well and good if the crane lifted anything. The crane doesn't lift anything. It's like a goddamn screen door on a submarine. Wheel on a walking stick. And other such cliches. So here I am, stuck, hauling logs back and forth with Fred the tractor. Oh god, who has no brakes, but, you know, doesn't take any damage either, so everything's fine. Once again, it's weird the things that they have chosen to actually simulate here. Damage is not one of them. There's no hunger or thirst or need to maintain any of your stuff. So maybe they just think that people want the realism in the actual forestry actions themselves, which is fair enough for something that's called Forestry 2017, which, by the way, if you haven't seen the back of the cover, is gloriously full of wonderful bullet. Alright, so we'll make this one the last one for today. Done pretty well, actually. Done this in only about 2 hours. On your horse, you just sort of max about 3 logs a day. It's very slow going. The beginning of this game is very slow, very tedious. As I guess it should be, because you need to, you know, do things over and over again until you start getting good at them. Alright. Now, I don't think we're going to get up to level 10 today, but I'm hoping we're going to level up to level 9 so you guys can see that. Can't be far off. Experience is getting up there, you can see in the top left-hand corner. Also, you can't change your... Oh, God. Oh, so close. Probably one more tree. You can't change anything about your profile, so that bearded lumberjack in a flannelette shirt, we are stuck with him. So some customization options might be good as well. But, you know, I get that there are limits. I'm actually, honestly, very surprised this game has a physical release. These are usually, especially on console, relegated to strictly digital only. But, you know, it's got a case. It's got apparently parental control level 3 if you've got to think about chainsaws. Alright, I reckon one more tree should do it. Oh, navigate the stumps. You can't seem to upgrade your chainsaws, aside from the 2 that you have as well, so let's use the smaller one. Maybe if there are some forestry fans out there, they can tell me the difference between these chainsaws and what their practical application is. Alright, oh, there's the lens flare, the dreaded lens flare. Sky Island is rather pretty though. Oh. Turning circle is not grand here. Let's try and do this. Alright, here we go. Onward. Alright, I reckon this is going to do our level up, and then we are going to call it a day for the moment. Alright, cornering. Here we go. Oh, no. Once again, physics is not a strong suit of this game. Oh, not stuck there, that's good. Alright. Let's fingers crossed that we're going to go for some leveling up action here, because we're pretty close. Oh, there's a crescent moon up there. That's a nice touch. Okay. Ka-ching! Reached level 9. Alright, well, I reckon we might want to hire ourselves some more workers, actually. That's a pretty exciting time. You know, we're in the money, we're doing alright. We can make some more. No contracts at the moment, but that's all okay. Let's hire a couple more. Let's go 15. So let's assign 2 of them to felling and 1 onto reforestation. Oh, we got a skill point as well. Let's put it into... Oh, increase our sales. There we go. And let's go see what's actually in the warehouse before we head back to the motel to kick back in our bed in the room with no other things. It's a Spartan life being a logger. Alright, so we've got quite a bit in there, so I'm actually probably just going to leave that there for the moment while we wait for the next contract. So let's take a leisurely stroll, or you can run in this. It's an L3 click. There's no stamina. Once again, he can just run forever if you wanted to the limits of eternity, or the limits of the map. But we're going to head back to the motel in town, devoid of all life. Once again, it's kind of log cabinish, which is terrifying. And we're going to call it a night. Here we go. Alright. In there. I should point out, there's a fridge or something there. Can't get to it. Never mind. Alright, so, I'm going to go to bed after 7 PM. Just hit 7 PM now. Alright, lights come on. And we're going to use the bed and start again fresh the next day. So we're just going to wait for that one to load up in its inevitable weirdness. Alright, starting again, fresh, 9:47 next morning. So we're going to save our game. And next time, I'm going to get up to level 10. We are going to buy some production and get some furniture manufacturing happening. So thank you for watching. I've been Dr. P. Lang. This is Mundane Gaming. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you soon.